what you have at the start if you understand how to use compound interest. Compound interest in the hands of someone that's capable, all you have to do is find something that repeats, that's measurable, just has a statistical probability of repeating more times than not in the future, and you have a fixed position in terms of how much money you can lose. Now, I'm saying that with quotations in the air with my fingers, okay? Because for purposes of CFTC regulations and required risk disclaimers that I can't show you here, past performance is not indicative of future results, and you can lose more than you have in your account. Putting that aside, because that's reality, you're opening yourself up to risk by having that specific number of handles of stop loss. In my son's case, I told him his model needs to be 20 handles. That allows for a lot of wiggle room. On a 1 minute chart, it gives you a lot of wiggle room. Because if your setup's really there, it's not going to fuck around and go against you when the fair value gets traded into. It's not going to rip through that bitch 20 handles and still go the other direction. That's not happening. Okay? That's not happening. And you only have one chance. So don't take my word for it. Go through the study of a 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock time interval and see how many times a fair value gap trades down to it and rips through it 20 handles and then comes back up and still goes inside of that hour. Remember, your execution has to be within 10 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock. Somebody's going to come in here. Look at this here. It went back down to it at 11:15, so you're full of shit. Wrong. You didn't fucking listen. You can't follow rules. This is the reason why you're failing. Some of you don't need a dad. You need to have your ass kicked. You need to be grabbed by the fucking lapels and shook and say, listen to me. You are not paying attention. You're not listening to the videos. You're asking me fucking questions or pointing out things that I said in the first 10 fucking minutes. How on earth do you expect to beat these fucking institutions that run this shit if you can't even pay attention to a fucking lecture? You have to block out all the bullshit. You got to get focused, dialed the fuck in. It's not going to happen overnight. It ain't going to be easy for a lot of you. But once you get this understanding, the work's over. You just have to implement it. But you got to have rules. You have to have rules. You have to stick to that rules of engagement. If you don't stick to it, you're going to fucking lose money. And you're going to lose money to the degree where you end up losing your account. And guess what happens then? You have a hard decision. Do you start all over again? Or do you pack it in and say, it ain't for me? If you have done the work of trying to trade, okay? If you tried to study how to trade and you tried to trade with money before you were ready, and because you failed by trying to trade with real money, and you do not have minimum 6 months of consistency with a rule-based idea using what I've taught or anybody else's bullshit, and you're saying because you lost money with a real account, you're done, you're quitting, you're not a fucking trader. You're doing the best thing for yourself. You're absolutely making the best decision for yourself. But if you have 6 months of real data where you followed a rule-based idea, you were managing risk, you're not in there fucking playing cowboy, maximum leverage and trying to see what happens. Because when you do that maximum leverage shit, number one, you can't do that consistently with live funds and expect to survive it. You can't. Nobody can fucking do that as a new trader. You can't do it. You're not going to be the person that does it, okay? And trust me when I'm telling you that with love and sincerity. I'm not trying to tell you you're fucking stupid or a moron. I'm saying that you literally are not equipped to do that. Because if you've never made money with maximum leverage and you've never seen that kind of profit come into your hands, it literally causes you to go fucking stupid, like crazy. Like you think you see everything in a chart now, and your impulsiveness, and because you're hopped up. Expression for me to explain to you that you've lost all sense of rational thinking. You have the feeling, imagine you won the lottery and it was the $750 million or $1 billion bullshit that they say that exists, and you won that. Try to describe what that might feel. You can't even come close to it because you're never going to be there. But the person that would be there, they're euphoric. They're out of their fucking mind. And that feeling, because you've never been there before, will make you think that you are better than you really are, and you're going to go in there and do the same thing again when there ain't a setup. Somebody with a rule-based idea, a rule-based protocol to trading and assuming risk and managing that risk appropriately, will say, I've done my executions, I've entered and ended the trade, I'm done. My rules say I can only do one setup. I don't give a fuck how much it runs. There's going to be all the people out there, oh, but ICT saying you shouldn't do this. And listen, for the fucking people that say that shit, come forward with your fucking results. Okay? Come forward with your fucking results, because nobody's got time for your Mickey Mouse fucking opinions. I sure as fucking don't have the time for it. I got till November. I'm looking at my fucking watch here. We ain't got much fucking time. Bring your shit. Bring your fucking shit or remain silent, because I'm done. I'm fucking done. I stayed a year longer on this fucking application on Twitter, longer than I wanted to be. Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. You want to learn how to make money? Fine. Show up, roll your fucking sleeves up, take notes, and listen. Do everything I say to do, and don't do the things I say not to do. Expect it to take a minimum of a year. Minimum. Because there's things that you have to practice. There's things that you have to look forward to and see if they pan out. If they don't pan out, what does that make you feel like as a trader? What does it give you in terms of impulsiveness? Does it make you feel like you got to do something to fix that problem? Do you feel uncomfortable about being wrong? Those are things that people don't realize until they go through it. But they put blinders on and say, fuck it, that doesn't really exist. I need to go into the next trade and over leverage. I need to refund my fucking shit. I got to reset my stuff. I got to go ahead and make the world believe I'm a good fucking trader. I got to show my stuff on the internet. I got to do a MyFX book because nobody believes that I'm making profits. Nobody gives a fuck if you're making profits. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck that I'm making money. Nobody gives a shit. Why are you worrying about fucking shit that doesn't make any more fucking money for you? But you're increasing your fucking concern about shit that's going to have more negative impact than it's going to help you positively. I don't understand how many fucking people can have their head so far up their own ass that they can't see that that's counterproductive. You'll do all that extracurricular bullshit that's going to hold you back and distract you from actually doing the work than simply doing 25% of the effort you're doing to do everything opposed to following instructions and then finding the success that you say doesn't fucking exist. It's asinine. I don't understand. I don't understand why so many fucking people drag their feet. It's for free. It's fucking proven it fucking works. It's proof. Come on. Seriously, why the fuck are you waiting around? Get in there and start. Don't tinker with the fucking rules. Don't bring your bullshit. GAN is not part of this fucking discussion. Unless I talk about it. Unless it's part of the fucking issue and the model that's being exposed, and as far as this is the time you're going to trade. This is the time where if you don't have a trade in it, it's this time of the day, you cannot take a trade. I don't give a fuck if anything happens after that. You can't trade. Period. That right there cancels about 75% of you. Well, I can't do it because, okay. I'm not going to stop fucking being me. I'm not going to stop living my life. I'm not going to stop being who I am because a certain percentage of my viewership can't do something. You said you can't. I didn't say you can't. You fucking said you can't. Because you said you can't, I fucking believe you. I absolutely believe that you can't do it. I believe you. You don't have to argue with me. You don't have to convince me. It's a settled matter. You said you can't, therefore you can't. When you change your mind and say, I can, I believe you. You don't need to convince me. I absolutely have proof that you can. Before you get your proof, I already know you can. But I'm in a position where I don't need to be swayed. I don't need to prove shit to nobody else. The proof's already out there. And I'm inviting all of you to simply investigate it on your own, and that way you'll find it for yourself. And when you get it, even if it's the $80 win, $80 a couple times a week, you know what that does? That pays for your fucking groceries. Yeah. It pays for a car payment, maybe a cell phone bill in addition to that. And then what happens over time? Wow, I'm really learning how to do this. I can now apply more effort and more equity. And then you compound that same cookie cutter approach that you've been doing with a micro account, micro contract. Now you're trading minis. And eventually dozens of them. And guess what happens then? Your frequency of trading drops. What did you say? Wait a minute, I'm already got my calculator here and I'm doing 50 contracts of NASDAQ at this, and I'm trying to do it Monday through Friday. And this motherfucker just came out and said, trade less. Trade less? Man, what is this guy on? I'm on the reality tip. Because when you start making 5 figures a week, why the fuck are you going to push it? Live your life. Live it. Some of you, not all of you, some of you would find the very existence that's going to be absolutely phenomenal for you, and you don't have to make $1 million a year. Many of you think that you have to be a millionaire every year over and over and over again, or you're not successful. That's bullshit. Because the person that finds their income and then a surplus income beyond that, outside of their job, and they no longer need their job and they fire their boss, I'm going to tell you, that's a person that's walking on fucking clouds right now. They're absolutely comfortable inside their own skin. And they're not the ones out here trying to prove it to anybody because they don't give a fuck. They have got a lifestyle now that they are not plugging into social media, which is 90% of horseshit and fucking negativity. They're not giving a fuck if somebody doesn't believe. You think they care? Who doesn't? They don't even know these people exist that doubt what they do. They don't give a shit. And that's how I've been. And I'm going back to that in November. I don't give a fuck who doesn't like me, who doesn't believe in me, I don't give a shit. But I have left my fucking legacy in this fucking industry.